Could Brian Flores be the next head coach for the Baltimore Ravens? We're going to be talking about it on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. As always, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Then, the second half of today's show, I do want to talk about a Jordan Addison Cleveland Browns trade. I threw it up on my Twitter recently, and it got a lot of different responses. So I want to dive into my full thoughts on the second half of today's show. But before we do so, if you guys could, hit that subscribe button today. We are closing in here on 69,000 subscribers. So shout out to all of you guys for the support on the channel over the last couple of months. It's been absolutely unbelievable. But we do need 316 more subscribers to hit that milestone, and you guys will get daily videos around your Minnesota Vikings. So hit that subscribe button today and lock us in as your go-to Vikings YouTube channel. All right, so why Brian Flores could potentially be the next Ravens head coach? Well, in the biggest NFL news that we will probably get this entire offseason, the Baltimore Ravens have officially fired John Harbaugh, which was not too big of a shocker. A lot of the writing were on the walls for this move being made. And also, more bad news for Vikings fans. This pretty much makes the Lamar Jackson trade dead. So at least I would assume. Maybe the new head coach comes in there and they want to completely reset, but I would assume that the Lamar Jackson trade is dead. That also leaves Brian Flores potentially heading to Baltimore. And it was actually Mina who tweeted this out, saying the Ravens instantly become the most appealing head coaching job in football. I would strongly consider Brian Flores if I were them. And Mina, I don't appreciate you tweeting this out, putting this out there into the universe, but you are 110% correct, because Brian Flores makes a ton of sense for the Baltimore Ravens. Number one, Baltimore, elite defensive personnel. Kyle Hamilton, I believe he would turn into be already one of the best players in football, but I think he could be the best defensive player in football with Brian Flores. His versatility, it would be a perfect scheme fit. I mean, he would take his game to the next level, but then also with Flores being a defensive-minded head coach, I still think Baltimore, it's not like you need that young offensive mind, because when you have a superstar quarterback and a superstar running back, which Baltimore still has, you just let them control that side of the field. And also maybe Brian Flores could potentially bring Josh McCown there. But I just think Flores, Baltimore, it makes a lot of sense. And also from Flores' perspective, maybe he doesn't want to take another head coaching job at like a shaky organization like a Las Vegas Raiders, or maybe like a Cleveland Browns type of team where it's like, hey, if I don't work out here, like I'm probably never getting another chance. But a team like the Ravens, I mean, what more of an appealing job you could ask for? Because Flores, he's also always loved Lamar Jackson. I still go back to a couple of quotes he had early on this season when the Vikings were playing the Ravens. He was just raving about Lamar, and for right reason. Lamar Jackson's a tremendous talent, one of the best regular season quarterbacks we have ever seen in NFL history. I mean, the year Lamar had last year, 5,000 yards, 45 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Like, Lamar was absolutely fantastic. So you'd be walking into a situation, franchise, all-time great quarterback in the prime of his career, elite defensive talent. Brian Flores, I'm telling you, he is probably, his ears are perking up right now. I mean, it would just make too much sense from both perspectives there. So I think that leaves two Flores destinations. I think it'd be the Las Vegas Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I am praying that the Baltimore Ravens go in a different direction, because I still don't know if Flores would absolutely love to take the Raiders head coaching job. Now, obviously, he wants to be a head coach again. He has made that very clear. But I don't think he's just going to jump at an opportunity, considering the Raiders, they have been one of the biggest disasters in the NFL over the last decade or so. I don't know if Flores would be like, okay, if I go there and I have a couple of bad seasons, like, and they just fire me, I don't know if he would want to jump the gun there, considering we just saw Pete Carroll be a one and done there. But the Baltimore Ravens, that scares the hell out of me. So it leaves me 50-50 right now. I don't think Flores would leave for another defensive coordinator job, mainly because, and maybe I'm blindly putting faith in the Wilfs here, that they would just match any offer he would get as a defensive coordinator. But I'm going to put it as 50-50. Maybe that's even a little too rich, because I really think Baltimore, they're going to have a lot of interest in Brian Flores. Now, good news for Vikings fans, we have also not heard one team request to interview Brian Flores just yet, so that's a positive sign. But I think Baltimore, they're gonna hire Flores. I mean, I think this just makes too much sense. You have all that talent defensively. You have a superstar quarterback, and like Flores just feels like a Baltimore Ravens head coach. I can't get it out of my head. So hopefully I'm wrong. But let me ask you guys this, because there's a lot of mixed opinions on Brian Flores and him potentially being a good head coach in the NFL. I think he would be a fantastic head coach. So you guys let me know your thoughts. Do you think Flores will make a good head coach, no matter if it's the Ravens or if it's the Raiders? You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Coming up next here on the show, I do want to talk about Jordan Addison and if it makes sense for the Vikings to try to deal him this offseason. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Let me tell you guys about my favorite sponsor here at Vikings Now. Shout out to Factor Meals. And if you guys head to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use promo code VikingsChat50 off, we'll hook you guys up with 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Now it's the new year, which probably means you guys got some big goals. And if you guys don't have any time to cook, well, Factor will make it easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without the shopping or cooking. Now, I love Factor because it's no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. And a couple examples of some meals I like. You see on screen right now the Texas Cheddar Burger, absolutely delicious. The lime salmon on the far right, that's delicious as well. So they got a bunch of different meals you guys can choose from. So if you guys just head on over to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use promo code VikingsChat50 off, we'll hook you guys up with 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. This offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. All right, let's discuss this. I think this is one of the most underrated storylines around the Vikings right now because I think, Brian Flores getting a lot of the attention, and you also have the quarterback position getting a lot of talk, but how about Jordan Addison? Should the Vikings consider trading him? Let's dive into it. So Addison, the first 3 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, just been stout. Now, he has not eclipsed 1,000 yards just yet, but I really thought, 2023, 2024, his first 2 years in the league, this guy was absolutely fantastic. One of the best route runners in the National Football League. Now, I always used to say Addison's got some of the best hands in the league, but we did see this year in 2025 the drops be a major issue with Jordan Addison. And also, you got the kind of problems of the off-the-field stuff kind of looming over him. So it makes this a tricky situation. Because the Vikings, they technically don't need to pay Addison this offseason. He's only played 3 years. You can have him under contract for the next 2 seasons after this because he's got his 4th year, and then he got the team option for his 5th year. So if the Vikings do want to keep Jordan Addison, they don't need to touch that contract. Like, they don't need to do anything. Now, could that add some drama where he could potentially hold out? I can maybe see him going down that road, but let's just say the Vikings already have the decision made in their head where it's like, hey, we're not going to pay Jordan Addison. We just don't want to pay 2 wide receivers because we really haven't seen 2 wide receivers really, really work out when they're getting paid a boatload of money. Like, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, but A.J. Brown's making $32 million a year. Devontae Smith is making around 25. That's one of the best deals in the National Football League, and also they had a stacked roster around them. And Howie Roseman's just a better GM of filling out a roster around 2 superstar wide receivers compared to Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, but we've seen the problems in Cincinnati with paying Chase and Higgins, and with Jefferson making 35. Like, are you going to pay Addison 30? I would have my doubts there. And plus, I think Jalen Nailor can step up and be a low-end wide receiver too. I'm not saying Jalen Nailor can step in there and be like the next Adam Thielen or the next Jordan Addison and be next in line of like the great wide receiver twos we have seen in this Vikings organization, but I think Nailor could be maybe I'm being disrespectful here, the Speedy, saying he could be a low-end wide receiver too. I think he would be a fine pairing next to Justin Jefferson. He's got the over-the-top speed. And also, you got Ty Felton. You spent a 3rd-round pick on him, which also makes me think this Vikings, brass is going to be like, we just spent one of our 3rd-round picks this past draft on you. Let's see what we got. So maybe they do consider trading Jordan Addison. And this was the trade idea I put out there on social media. A lot of mixed responses, a lot of people calling me a moron, and a lot of people agreeing with me. So it's about 50-50. I think this is an interesting trade. So the Vikings obviously have the 18th pick in the draft. Cleveland Browns are slotted in there at number 6. Cleveland Browns have a need at the wide receiver position. Whether rolling out with Shedeur Sanders next year or not, they need some more help for whatever quarterback is playing there in Cleveland. So what do the Vikings do? Pick number 18, Jordan Addison, move up 12 spots. Now, I had some people legitimately telling me under this tweet that Jordan Addison is worth more than the 6th overall pick. If you're out of your damn mind. I think Jordan Addison, his trade value right now is around a high end to low or medium second round pick. So that's probably the calling price moving up 12 spots. And if the Vikings do move up 12 spots, oh, hey, you got the next Kyle Hamilton waiting in the reins. Look, Caleb Downs could very well go top 5. Like, I think the Giants could easily take him at the 5th overall pick. So it would get a little tricky if you do make this trade and then Caleb Downs is off the board. But maybe this is something you do on draft night. We're just kind of watching the board play out. And it's like, damn, Caleb Downs is there at number 6. Hey, Cleveland, you move back 12 spots. We'll give you a really good wide receiver, and we'll go up there and take Caleb Downs. So you guys let me know your thoughts. Would you accept this trade? Give me an A for accept. Give me a D for decline. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. We'll get on out of here. As always, Skol Vikes.